Hello everyone. So wishing you a happy Republic Day and coming back with today's editorial. Let's start the today's headlines. Coming back with the recaps. Let's have a recap of the front page. India Indonesian stress region, peace in Asian region. Simultaneous elections will prevent the policy paralysis, says the Murmuru in address to nation. Second page covering the 7 get the Padma Vibhushan, 19 named for Padma Bhushan, and 942 police personnel get a gallantry service medal on the eve of Republic Day. So the coming back with the third editorial is the Murmuru Lord rise in number of women coming out of the vote. Fourth headline is about the nano urea reduce the grain yield study. Fifth one is why the US often excited the climate pacts. Sixth one, present tense, future dangerous. Covering the editorials about the climate deal. Eighth is what do the Trump's early decrease signal. Ninth one is India should be essential to import of part of a Gaza reconstruction, and the UCC came into effect in Uttarakhand from tomorrow. So let's start with the front page. So the India Indonesia stress peace in Asian region. So who is the chief guest? It's a President Prabowo Subianto, who is as a chief guest on the occasion of Republic Day, and also the further talk with the Myanmar region. So what are the upholding peace, security, freedom of navigations in Southeast Asia region? Prime Minister Modi said on Saturday that he was speaking after delegation levels talks led by him and visit Indonesian President Prabowo Subianto. He is a chief guest in the year's Republic Day celebration. So it is a very intense and very frank talk. Like he declared the bilateral project would be expedited by the cutting bureaucracy, and the Indonesia is an important parameter in the region. So we agree that a freedom with the international laws. Modi said President Suharto recollected that Indonesian President Sukarno was the chief guest at Republic and celebrated in 1950s. He was the chief guest was as a first Republic Day celebration in 1950. So, how's the presence of Republic Day celebration on Sunday was a continuation of close bilateral ties between two sides, and he also thanks the India supports like Dutch attempts in recognizing the arpeggio. It's it's arpeggio after the end of Second World War, and history tells that India was one of the first strong supporter and sent the financial aid for independence. Even the new embassy of Republic Indonesia of land donated the Indian government. So moving to the next article is simultaneous elections prevent the policy paralysis, says Murmuru in address to nation. So basically it's the major promises to redefine the terms of good governance. So President Draupadi Murmu said that addressing on the 76th Republic Day, the one nation and one election plan can promote the consistency in governments, prevent policy paralysis, mitigate the resources diversion, and reduce the financial burden. So the moderate laws, as she stressed the union government with the efforts of eliminate remnants of a colonial mindset that have lingered, and contests mentioned in the replacement of British criminal laws within the three new modern laws. So the president said the decision to replace the Indian Penal Code, the Code of Criminal Procedure, and the Indian Evidence Act with a Bharatiya Nyaya Samhita, Bharatiya Nagrik Suraksha Samhita, and Bharatiya Sakshya Adhiniyam, which was based on Indian tradition of judication, is the most noteworthy efforts. So the inclusive growth will be the growth and governance of commitment to by ensuring the necessities like housing, access clean drinking water, and she also pointed a persistently of high economic growth rate in recent years that has generated the job opportunities coming for farmers, laborers, and lifted many out of poverty. So moving to the next one is The 7 got the Padma Vibhushan and 19 named for Padma Bhushan. So it's just remember these basic facts, that who has given the Padma Bhushan and Padma Vibhushan Bhushan, what is the difference between them, and what is given, under which honor it is given. So basically there is a 23 out of 139 Padma awards were announced on the eve of Republic Day. I don't know, this 26th January is not good for me. I'm not able to just focus on today's studies, and a lot of time got wasted just covering. But I promised that to maintain the consistency, so I'm just covering to today's editorial somehow. The 23 of 139 Padma Award was announced on the eve of Republic Women to Bibek Deb Roy, Pankaj Udasan, and Sekhar Kapoor, Srijesh, Anant Nag, Jatin Goswami, and Padma Bhushan to get Padma Bhushan. So these are they were Margarethi Reddy, Field Medicine, Telangana, Field Public Affairs, Justice J.S. Kher, retired. So the Kumudini Rajnikant Lakhia, Field Art, Osama Suzuki, posthumous, trade is country Japan. Posthumous, basically they are not basically they are not present, but they are awarded on the honorable these awards. So posthumous is written there, like Japan, trade for Lakshmi Narayana Subramania, art, state Karnataka, and the field literature Kerala country, M.T. Vasudevan on the literature. So here the Indian Khekar who retired up presenting opinion of Supreme Court bench and triple talaq in 2017 was selected for Vibhushan, the country's second highest civilian award. It is Padma Vibhushan is second highest civilian award as a part of Padma Award announced on the eve of Republic Day. So gastroenterology Dr. Nageshwaran Reddy, here he is, and Kathak dancer Kumdumni Rajnikant Lakhia, and where the among the Padma Vibhushan awardees iconic writer M.T. Vasudevan Nair, Japan Suzuki Motor leader Osama Suzuki, and Bhojpuri and Mathili singer Sada Sinha has been for Padma Vibhushan for Anna posthumously. So economists Bibek Bijroy, Gajal Singh Pankaj, and former Manohar Joshi, former Bihar Deputy CM Sushil Kumar Modi named for Padma Vibhushan. And these are the, just remember the singer Arjit Singh, cricket R. Ashwin, recipients of the Padma Shri, recipients Libya Lobodo, Sai, who played an important role in Goa's freedom, Gokul Chandra De, 57-year-old from Dhak player, West Bengal, who broke the gender stereotype by 150 women, and 2025 139 Press Padma Awards. A list comprises 7 Padma Vibhushan, 119 Padma, and 130 Padma Shri Award. So moving to the next is 942 policeman personnel gets a gallantry service medal on the eve of Republic Day. So the total 942 policemen, fire services, home guard are given. So according to the governor, the 28 of 95 gallantry award will go to personnel deployed and extremism, and the 28 to personnel from Jammu and Kashmir, and 36 from other regions has been named. So for the as of 101 President Medal of the Distinguished Services PSM, 85 to Go police personnel, 5 fire services, 7 to HG and CD, and 4 to correctional services and personnel. So among 746 medals, materials MSM, 643 to police and 37 to fire services, 36 to correctional services. So the 16 Indo-Tibetan border police, including Inspector General Clay Koshai, Deputy Speaker General Sanjay Kumar Kothari BSF, and the Kumar Uday will get a gallantry medal in Tripura for talking on insurance agent in Tripura on August 2022. So the 15 officers of J&K and Kashmir Zone Inspector Police Vijay Kumar, Senior Superintendent Rakesh Bawal, and also the Hanuman Bhatt, one of the 4 officers to lay down their lives during encounter of terrorists, has been awarded medal for distinguished service. So moving to the next one is The Murmuru land the rise in the number of women voters coming out of the vote. So the India's democracy unique example of modern, and said the noting many countries were taking lessons from election system. Democracy is not only oldest in the world but also largest diverse. So basically here addressing the about the 15th National Voter Day at the event, and she also said that election commission was marking the special effort to facilitate voting processes of senior above the age of voter with disabilities to in remote areas, setting a good example of inclusive sensible. In the separate messages on the Twitter, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said National Voter Day was about the celebrating India's vibrant democracy and empowering the citizen to exercise their vote. So the enlisting trust is Union Law Minister Arjun Ram Meghwal said that 75 years of journey of election commission had strengthened the democracy, and he appreciated the initiative of poll body, so such as voting of third gender, empowering third gender, introducing the Braille voter ID and ramps on polling station. He added his milestone of 1000 to unprecedented achievements in India. So the campaigning and narratives might be youngsters regard the electoral processes and requested the political activities. So he concerns are flagged by them on electoral commission saying the functioning. So there are 22 recipients contribution of management, voter education inclusively, management of Lok Sabha held in. So the best performing state award is of Chief Election Commissioner of Jammu Kashmir, Jharkhand, Maharashtra. So the moving to the next one is about a nano urea reduce the grain yield study. Shows that the Punjab Agriculture University scientists find the reduced protein content in the grain of two crops, and the plants were unable to use urea spread. Find this commercial release in 2022. So nano urea was a reliable substitute for conventional variety has been thin. So one of the largest and most trials analyzes impact of nano urea on crop yield has concluded its continued use reduced the yield of paddy, wheat, and about 70% India's annual food grain output. So it was promoted by the IFCO fertilizer company, and the government department of fertilizer of nano urea said that wheat is reduced by 35%, it's 24% respectively said. So the premature adoption is such nitrogen management practices led to yield of long losses, desired reduction in grain, and the long-term impacts required to economic growers. So the urea is solidified to the nitrogen fertilizer, and India needs only 350 lakh tons. 40 lakh tons imported. So here the urea subsidy cost around 3000 sold at 242 rupees in a farmers, and 1.3 lakh crore urea. Here the data is already written here. So basically the data was given by the promoted by the fertilizers company, and is given the application of nano urea, how it is affecting the affected area of Punjab, research by the Punjab Agriculture University. So there is evidence that 4% was nitrogen equivalent to 20 gram of nitrogen. So IFS said that one spray of 500 ml of solution of nano urea substance more than 52 kg of nitrogen as a commercial urea in the crop irrespective of soil climatic condition, and this is because the nano urea is converted to nanoparticles and therefore made available. So these are the nano urea spread on the leaves of two critical flowering stages. The 2 bags of urea hectare of paddy and bags substitute the other with no loss of yield. So the bottle urea cost more than 45 kg around 260 rupees, and it is despite of previous positive result in trial conducted by IFSO, there is a mixed evidence. So there is a Cultural University Ludhiana said that was resulted of founded as several yield grains like plants suggested nitrogen in the soil from the roots. So moving to the next article, present tense future dangerous about the US from the climate deal, which require the most of countries to take steps to limit the temperature increase, available efforts to fight climatic changes and warming divided world. So basically here was a editorial saying that the Paris Agreement of the 29 perpetrated by terrorists, 29 people were killed, including 3 bombers attacks in Beirut, Lebanon, killing 43 in the places and killing 130 people in the France promptly. Yeah, it's about the January 2015. So the decade later, the world present a very different inflict while the Ukraines of Eastern Europe. The Paris Agreement has nearly 200 parties, but US, with the world's largest highly industrialized economy, so particularly important for the models of carbon. And brief concluded. So his President Joe Biden pledges to lower the US emission by half of 2005 by level 2030, but under the Mr. Trump, it is expected to drop its around quarter. So the Republican in US agreements is also declared plans to undermine the Inflation Reduction Act 2022. And there is on January 24, Trump blocked the federal approval for wind farms and non-trivial degree of substantial actions. So China, for one, will be happy to undertake the US in development of green technology. So we will now replace US after replacing the US. China will take the place of that for the carbon border adjustment mechanism. And threats of climate feedback is like the world is just before US presidential election last year. Agreements is no goal, as simply wise the possibilities to 2024 arrested the world already, and clearing the global warming increases. So agreement hold the majority of the world countries to well below the 2 degrees C. 2 degrees C. They are just promising to. So the parties to agreement has decided to achieve via nationally determined contribution and 1.5 degree of convenience, yet for arbitrary origin, and it's become when alliance is small, and Paris Agreement because alliance member of world is 2 degrees C warmer. So it's 1.5 degrees C of warming rather than less unsafe, and such is a basis of legislation in many countries, corporation and government to restore the reducing emission. So it's about the distrust toward the wealthy nations. So how in the course of trying to interest their commitments under Paris Agreement, less wealthy country resents the distrust toward the world and has exactly come together. The poor ones to till the 2035 after missing that previously 100 billion by 2020. Basically, editorials just say that the countries that are less developed, they should have a opportunity. They should have the opportunity to develop at least to 25. And you already who is a more economic country and produces a carbon emission more, so they should be reduced because and more industrialized. And these less developed countries should have a give a time for their industrialization. So they will step up the depending on their political Paris Agreement, and that will be good for vital instrument. So the moving to the next. Household nutrition supports can avoid 0.6 million TB deaths. Yesterday we are also covering the articles about the TB and what are the nutrition support that can avoid about the 0.6 million TB deaths. So here, let me just find that article. So it's basically the saving life via nutrition is 50% coverage of nutritional support to adult TB patient in household contracted that 4.6% TB, 4.6% TB and 2.2% new TB and 2% new TB seized by 2025. So the median number of household needed to prevent the TB death was 24.4 and prevent the TB was a case of 10. So the study found that the provision of nutritional support is very likely to be cost effective. The study is restricted to nutritional support to the adult TB patient, their household contacts, number of deaths averted and new cases prevented will be higher if the children and the adolescent TB patient are included. So the nutritional support to adult TB patient not only reduce death but also reduce the reactivation progresses diseases and if they are reinfected. So considering the health benefits of TB, study likely to underestimate the both impact and cost effectiveness. The number of needs to be treated was constantly substantively smaller than the ration trials in 30 households to prevent the incident case. So the targeted nutritional support for TB patient household contract can be improved TB patients outcomes and reduce the number of new cases. That is now well known as, particularly after the Rason's trials carried between the August 2019 and August 2022 in Fort district of Jharkhand. 2800 pulmonary is 2800 pulmonary TB patient and 10,345 household contracts. The trial found that nutritional support provided to household contract for the duration of treatment reduced pulmonary TB cases by 48% and 35 kg by body weight. Underweight were only 7%. So the new modeling study has estimated the epidemiological economic benefits for providing nutritional support for both adult TB patient and household coverage is 50%. Providing nutritional care to adult TB and treatment could help avert 3,061 deaths and 880,000 new TB cases 2005 at the cost of 167 per disability adjusted life. 24.4 to prevent 1 TB cases was 10. So it is also estimated that the provision of support is likely to be cost effective. So it was a study published recently in Journal of Lancet Global Health. So the BMI strata linked to the disease progressions and the treatment outcomes result of recent trial to estimate the impact and cost of nutritional support. Based on the modeling study, a number of nutrition intervention for tuberculosis, household could avert a substantial amount of tuberculosis. So the compared with the population level, like larger effect size, TB incidences, or also India targeting the risk household to maximize the cost effectiveness. To understand this, to understand the nutritional support in preventing deaths and new cases, the author compared the outcomes when nutrition is provided only to adult TB patient, only to household contact but not an adult TB patient, and finally both the adult TB patient and household contacts, while the nutritional support to adult TB patient alone reduced the number of new cases, 46,700 deaths. The household contact alone excluding the TB patient led to larger drop in new cases, 833 700 and deaths in 120, but far less than the adult TB patient and household contact were provided nutrition support. So basically this was this data about the household nutrition support, how it led to the TB deaths, and alone it can be reduced if there is a drop in TB cases and less number of deaths. So article is only about the TB cases and the drop, no contact during the household of any other persons. So what is the Trump earliest decrease signal? The whole article was about Trump's early decrease signal. What is the why the agreement of executed the climate pacts. So finally, the US President Donald Trump signed a number of executive orders action into force in early days of his second term of office. So the which began on sworn, and he was sworn on January 20. Which follow began the multiple promises that made a campaign trail leading to 2024 presidential elections. So what was the order issued? The Trump issued the 1,500 pardons to individuals prosecuted for their role at the alongside order mandating the US exit from Paris Climate WHO. He has also signed an order ending in bright right citizenship protected under the US Constitutional 14th Amendment, children, undocumented migrants, and those of temporary visa. So he proposed a 10% conditional tariffs and break and 25% Canada's tariffs on Canada. So US southern border and Mexico. So he also reversed the 78 executive cases, order and memoranda of his predecessors, and Joe Biden white governance paradigm, the US and some of, if not most of the executive order will face legal challenges and ultimately be reversed. So why did the Trump pardon the rioters? Speaking at the news conference regarding the blank pardon that effectively freed all the riots and arrested the largest criminal investigation of US history. Those people are already served in near prison. They have served them the viciously and disgusting prison. It's inhuman. It's terrible thing. So the 6 congressional investigations about the 1,500 people associated with the attacks, Capitol and Proud was convicted of seditious conspiracy. Trump Attorney General pick up palm only on Congress earlier. And some of them, what are the implications of immigration crackdown? Like 14th Amendment has already been followed according to experts. A federal judge's citizenship bluntly unconstitutional. At least 2 weeks waiting further. An association arrested the promises and it in the 5,000 state of Texas. Just read that tutorial one time. What is the article is saying the whole. Just about the like 22 states challenge. The whole conversation is writing here. What is the tenor of second Trump administration? How is implications on their the order of bipartisan prospect in US? What are the global impact of exit of global pact, etc. Just read oneself. So the UCC come into effect in Uttarakhand from tomorrow. The much hyped uniform civil code will be now come to effect on Uttarakhand on Monday. Our government Home Secretary Shailendra Begoli with the state will have uniform civil code. So the government department's official says the UCC portal launched by the Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami and half at the secretarial rules for law the same day, and official Prime Minister say Modi is expected to in Dehradun on Tuesday. So it's the launch of the UCC in state capital. Uttarakhand cabinet last Monday approved the rules for the UCC. Online registration is the Citizens of Common Service Center SC has been authorized to do the registration through the platform, and the minor technical issues communication government said it was a UCC portal in 7728 officer IDs were created and bill were passed assembly last February. Promised the practices on Halla Idadat and the customs related to marriage and divorce in Muslim personal law. Basically, now it is uniform for everyone, for both the every religious sector. There is a uniform civil code is regulated in the Uttarakhand. So the India should be essential to improve a part of a Gaza reconstruction, Palestinian inbo, with the expectation of the stripe and the Albigas are calling the January 2019 part as a whole. So basically here the essential imports a part of Gaza construction. Just locate one time the editorial in the Gaza and Palestinian inbo and how the reconstruction is basically finally an important part. So the Gaza Palestine is now recovering, and the 3 phases of elevates. So basically that's for today. Actually I'm not feeling well, so I'm just ending up very earlier. I know I can be just giving a more explanation, but now I'm just ending up. Just read the article once time again if you anything find it difficult. Or so let's have a summary of today's tutorial. First page covering the India-Indonesian stress peace in Asian region, and there is a prevent policy paralysis in Murmuru address to the nation. Second one is about the Padma Vibhushan. Just remember the Gallantry Awards who was awarded by these can be questioned when asked. Third one is about the large rise in number of women coming out to vote. Fourth one is covering about the nano urea reduce the grain yield study. Sixth one is the future dangerous and how it is leading the climate change from the US deals. Seventh one is the household nutrition support and million of TB death and what Trump early decrease signals. And ninth one covering is the UCC come to the civil code and India is the essential part of Gaza. So that's for today. Coming back, so let's meet with the new editorial. Till now, have a great night. Grind, study hard, and good night. Take care.